who link gun violence to violent video games, and some lawmakers are moving to try to do something about it.
Because these games, are the new generation of them, are really frightening.
Hey there, I'm Michael Thornhill, and I'm here to talk about the media that we consume and how it can, and very much so has, changed us over our lives. You ever find the news annoying? Like, you ever see an argument on there that's just so pretentious, it could never be true? You know, like, playing video games are making kids actually violent, or movies are promoting villainous behavior, or my favorite, the kids are being greatly affected by the media they watch. I mean, you know that's not true. I know that's not true. I mean, we've both played something like Doom, and, I mean, we've never killed anyone. I haven't killed anyone. But, to play devil's advocate, I don't think those are entirely untrue. The media all around us can affect us in the deepest ways. I once read a book in like 5th or 6th grade called Wonder. It was about a little boy named August who had a facial deformity, and the book was about how he makes friends and overcomes bullying despite that. And it moved me. It changed my opinion on stuff. And as a young kid at the time, I probably would have also completely shied away from a boy like August. But, you know, after some reflecting, I've realized that that book really did shape my worldview in a way. And that's exactly what I'm here to do, actually. I'm here to reflect on how the media like Wonder affects the way that we see the world, that I see the world, and maybe invite you to do the same. Yo, Little Leagues! Anyways, when I was just a tot, I watched a lot of kids shows, you know, obviously stuff like Dora the Explorer, the Backyardigans, and honestly a lot more girly stuff, like My Little Pony, Frozen. My dad didn't approve much of that, but yeah, okay. Anyways, all that to say, the stuff that I watched as a kid really affected me, specifically because when I would go in and I would see the characters, my favorite characters, in stuff that I watched, and I would see the way that they react to the situations they're put in, whether it's like, you know, finding the treasure or like saving someone from danger. I feel like it's kind of teaching you something, and it taught me something. I think that's kind of the point of them, you know, to teach you what's right and what's wrong. And, you know, I think that those kind of shows really did do that for me. Like nowadays all the kids are watching like, I don't know, freaking Cocomelon and AI videos. I used to actually watch, you know, educational shows that taught me stuff, and so, you know, I feel like that really helped, I don't know, me be smarter, I guess, emotionally smarter at least. When I was a young boy. Okay, now, I grew up a little older, and around, like, the early double digits, I read and watched a whole lot of stuff on platforms like YouTube. You know, I would watch people discussing my favorite video game franchises, and books, and stuff on YouTube. I would watch them play my favorite games. I would watch people make and discuss art from my favorite stories and movies, and that was like a community, you know? It is a community. It was a bunch of people coming together to talk about the stuff that they liked. And I was like, what? I was like 11, 12, 13, you know? And that kind of community, I think, really shaped me, being around all these different people with all their different opinions. Like, you know, somebody would say, oh, you know, I think the way that they wrote this, or the music in this show that I watched really elevated that scene, or blah, 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 blah. And I think it, led me, because I was obviously, it was about stuff that I enjoyed, so I was obviously engaged. And two, I think it was kind of also, again, educational, you know, learning stuff about how these things are made by just talking about them with other people. Yeah. Now, when I was first becoming a teen and stuff, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, like, yeah, around then, that's when I actually started getting old enough to play games by myself and understand the stories that I was reading. You know, I love the stuff that Toby Fox makes. I love Marvel movies, Five Nights at Freddy's, and I think all those games and movies, all the fan content really shaped me directly. Like, I even have a poster just off screen, Five Nights at Freddy's poster. But consuming all the things that I consumed, all the media that I consumed personally, I think it even comes into my life now, if that makes sense. Like, stuff I watched years and years ago, I still enjoy those stories, and I sometimes go back just to rewatch, like, stupid old cringy stuff that I used to watch. It's great. And, you know, having all this different types of stuff that I used to watch is, like, really, it gives me a lot of interesting perspectives, because I feel like I have a lot to talk about, because I've seen a lot, if that makes sense. Yeah. Talk about how this affects you, just like it affected me, because the media that we consume, you know, it does have an effect on people. Like, you know, me watching the kind of fan content and fandom stuff that I was into led me to make a whole bunch of friends, you know. But there's stuff out there like advertisements that are specifically trying to convince you of something, you know. Like, the moral of a Dora the Explorer episode might be, oh, you know, it's bad to steal from people. But the same thing can be applied to something like an ad that you could watch, and it changes your opinion. Or people write whole books just to convince other people of their opinion, you know. And I mean, I just would like to, you know, give you a little bit of advice there on media in general. You know, it can affect you as well. You there. Okay, that took a while, but we're finally here. Today, as I've shown you, and you've probably realized by now, hopefully, all this stuff I watched, from kids' cable when I was like 3, to my favorite old cringe videos on YouTube when I was about 10, to massive overarching stories that I still keep up today with today. The media that we watch has absolutely massive effects on us, and that shapes our worldview and our life, really, until the day we die. And now, I still don't think anybody's gonna get murdered because Doomslayer went out and took a couple of demons out. I don't think that's true. But I do think it's true that the kids are getting greatly affected by the media they watch. Because it is. Thank you for listening. I've been Michael Thornhill. You've been a great audience. Goodbye.